Got it.
Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, many of you know that a little bit less than a month ago, I moved from Southern California to Northern California. And I recently had dinner with my friend, Esther Loveridge. If you don't know who she is, you got to look her up on this channel. She lost like 150 pounds following the McDougall program. And she's written a book. She's such an inspiration. And she texted me about a health event with the Sherzais that's happening very soon in the month of June in Northern California. Would I like to go? And I said, well, sure. On the days that I'm free, I'd love to go. It's a 3-day event. And as I looked it up, because you have to register, it was absolutely free. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? A 3-day health event with all these cooking demos and lectures and Dr. Dean and Dr. Aisha Sherzai. And so I contacted the organizer. I said, is this a joke? And he said, no. I said, well, then come on my show and let's get people to come to this event. So I'd love for you to come. I'm already registered. It's June 15th, 16th, and 17th, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I would like you to meet the organizer of this free, no strings attached. There's no catch. Apparently it's been free for all these years and I never heard about it. Please welcome Daniel Vierra. It's so nice to meet you.
Thank you, Chef AJ. Thanks so much for having me on.
Absolutely. Why have we never heard of each other before?
I know, right? I mean, we're both in the health space, but I'm so thankful that our paths have crossed.
Well, yeah, we can thank Esther for bringing us together because I mean, I've been vegan for 45 years and I'm guessing you have been vegan or plant-based probably for a long time too.
Yeah, I grew up in the health industry. My parents, they own 2 successful health food stores and a vegan cafe. And they were looking at what is the best diet to raise our children on. I have 4 beautiful sisters and myself, so there's 5 of us. And my father learned about the whole plant-based vegan lifestyle. And he was reading books from, you're probably familiar with Jethro Kloss, Paul Bragg, even an author, Ellen White, that was talking about nutrition and lifestyle. So we adopted this plant-based diet. I wasn't even born yet. So yes, I've been plant-based my whole life.
That's amazing. So you were born that way.
I was born that way. I've never had a real burger in my life.
Oh my goodness. That is incredible. Which health food stores did your parents own and where were they?
Yeah, so they owned a health food store in Tracy, California. And they also owned a health food store in Lodi, California. So this was in the 80s and the 90s when independent health food stores were, pretty large and popular.
Are your parents still alive?
So my mother's still alive. My father passed away December 31st of 2017.
Wow, that is how did they know to raise you this way?
It was interesting because God, he works in mysterious ways. We have a real deep background in faith. And my father, he had purchased this health food store. And within the contract, he had to keep the 80-year-old employees. And he said, come on, I need a fresh vibe atmosphere. But he said, hey, it's making money. I'll buy it. But what was interesting was he was driving to work in his Ferrari or his Corvette, high on dope. Because he hadn't totally converted his mindset yet. And one of the 80-year-old employees, she would always give my father a 3x5 note card with a verse, a quote, something that had to do with what he was battling with that week. And it just seemed as if through that process, God was really tugging on his heart, and he learned about health and nutrition and how he could really sustain his own life through a whole plant-based food diet. Now, he grew up, and I'll just briefly share this. He grew up in a heavily meat dietary approach with his Italian family. And he grew up interested in physical fitness, and he became an amateur bodybuilder. So he was eating a rotisserie chicken a day, 2 gallons of milk a day. So this whole plant-based food approach was completely different than what he was used to. But he noticed that his health started to change when he incorporated this plant-based diet approach. So he raised us that way. And I'm thankful that I'm now raising my children in the same approach that my father raised us. So I have 2 beautiful young boys, and they're whole plant-based as well.
That's amazing. Your 4 sisters, did they all stay plant-based?
The majority of them, I would say, did stay plant-based or consume a large diet full of plants and fruits and vegetables.
Well, that is fantastic. Yeah. So Daniel, how the heck do you put on an event of this magnitude, not only with like these world-class speakers, but for 3 days for free? There's got to be a catch.
I know, right? So the event is June 17th through the 19th.
I said 15th through 17th.
Yeah, that's okay. So this is our 24th year. We originally started the event in 1993. And the idea was there wasn't anything health focused in our community. So we weren't necessarily interested in just, reaching our community, but reaching the communities abroad. So we started in 1993, and we would bring in individuals who had a health message to present on our stage. Like I said, we have a deep faith as well. So we would coincide health and the gospel within our program. And people started coming. We would have individuals come from Southern California, Northern California, and word just got out about this event, and it started to explode. We did take a little bit of time off in the early 2000s, and then we started again in 2009. And, now being that we just kind of recovered from this whole pandemic, we're getting so much response from individuals saying, we're so excited for your event once again, where we can meet in public with individuals and learn how we could assist our life and our health. And yeah.
So we have some people watching from Europe.
Okay.
It's probably not feasible for them to attend. Is there a virtual component?
So we're not going to have a virtual live component, but we will be offering a streaming opportunity after the event. So if you click the link for the registration, you will see there's a free ticket. Like Chef AJ mentioned, the event is free. Admission is free to this event, and it's been free since the early 90s. So like I mentioned, there is a free ticket option where you can watch the event live. I'm sorry, it won't be live. It'll be after the event. So I would still recommend you to click the link and reserve that ticket so you could be on the waiting list to watch it after our event has ended on the 19th of June.
Well, if they do that, will they be taking away a seat of somebody in person? Because does it differentiate?
No, they won't.
Okay.
They won't, because we have specific tickets allotted for individuals to watch it online.
Great. I registered, but I didn't even notice that. So I'm so glad I asked. Well, yeah. How do you make any money if it's free?
Yeah, so it is free. There aren't any strings attached. This has been really our way of giving back to the community. Certainly there is a cost behind it for us. The way we're able to cover our cost is individuals who do come, they see the mission behind what we're doing. They recognize that it is free. We are a nonprofit organization. So individuals can leave a tax-deductible donation, which can assist in covering the cost for our event. Now, it is free, so we don't have strings attached. If you can't give, please come. If you can give, fabulous. But we want to really give back and serve our community, and especially those who need help. Because right now, more than ever before, people are suffering. And this is why we're so excited that the Sherzais are coming, because this event is all about the mind and healing the brain. And that's what the Sherzai specialize in. They co-direct the Brain Health Clinic in Loma Linda University, and they specialize in reversing Alzheimer's and dementia. So we're happy to have them.
That is fantastic. Talk about some of the other speakers that you've had in previous years. You've had some really big names like Dr. Joel.
Yes.
Furman.
So in 2019, we had Ocean Robbins, which you're familiar with Ocean. In 2017, we had Dr. Joel Furman. We've had T. Colin Campbell in the past. John McDougall has been on our stage many times. We've had, you may have heard of Russell Blaylock, Howard Lyman, if you're familiar with him. So we've had some fabulous thought leaders in the health space. And I love when we hear the testimonies of individuals who have come to our event and they've incorporated what they've learned. I mean, we still have individuals who come to our event and they say, hey, Daniel, I've been coming to this event since 1993 when you first started this. I learned about a whole plant-based vegan lifestyle, and I implemented it, and I'm still on it today. And I've reversed my health issues, whether it's cardiovascular disease, they've been able to lose weight. I think it's fabulous when individuals adopt a program and they continue it. And it really warms our heart. So we have some other speakers this year. And like I mentioned, our focus is the mind and the brain. So we have a doctor of psychology, and she's going to be talking about uncovering the invisible wounds of trauma and how to recover. And then we have a licensed marriage and family therapist, and she's going to be talking about how to incorporate a positive outlook and mindset. And, I really think with what we just experienced these last couple of years, and individuals with isolation and not being able to have community, and they've lost touch. And I've even met individuals who have been heartbroken because of what's gone on in this world, losing a loved one, whatever it may be. So we really said, okay, we want to put on an event that's going to assist individuals physically, mentally, and spiritually, and really help with the mentality mindset and even the trauma that individuals may experienced through these past couple of years that we've had,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there will be food for sale at the event. People can't expect free food for a free event. It's optional, but tell us a little bit about the food.
Yes. So we have a vegan chef. She's had a restaurant, I believe, in Maui. She's had a mobile restaurant in Oregon.
What's her name?
Her name is Crystal Dubois. So she prepares all of our food, and she does a fabulous job with it. And it's whole plant-based, vegan, gluten-free, and vegan as well, because we're trying to really, everyone is on a different journey with their diet and lifestyle. And so we said, okay, let's make it vegan, gluten-free as well for people.
That's amazing. How can you plan for food for when you don't know who's eating?
I know, right? So since it's free, we do have the registration, but individuals will show up because they've known about our event for so many years. Maybe they didn't necessarily see the registration link, but we do encourage you to register. So we make sure we have enough seats for the individuals who are coming. As far as the food, we really base it off of past years. Since we've been hosting our event since 1993, we kind of have a real good gauge on how many individuals will be eating at our event. But if you go and click the link and you look at the registration options, there is also an option to purchase your meals. And that will really give us a heads up on how many individuals will want to eat the whole food plant-based meals that we will be preparing at the event.
That's great. Well, yeah. Aunt Day says, how have we not heard about this?
Yeah, great question. We've had media coverage in the past. The newspapers come out. We've had the local news station has come out in the past as well. We really cater to our local community. So I'm really thankful for you, Chef AJ, for inviting me on the show to spread this far and wide, because we don't want to just reach our community. We want to try to reach the masses if we can, because this is such a beautiful message to share. There's other events within California that may charge upwards to $300 per person to attend an event like this. And we're saying, we're not in this to line our pockets. We're in this to provide a resource for individuals who maybe can't afford it. So we don't want to turn anyone away.
Right. That's so great. But you do have to eat. So I'm thinking maybe you do something else in your spare time.
Yes, we do. We certainly do. So like I mentioned earlier, we had 2 health food stores in California. And we really started specializing in assisting individuals through cleansing and detoxifying their body. And we became pretty well known for that within our community. And we started having our customers say, hey, do you have a controlled environment where you could assist me through this, where you could walk me through this cleansing journey? Because yes, I can do it at home, but it's much easier when I'm in a controlled environment. So in 2001, we opened a retreat facility called BellaVita Lifestyle Center, where individuals come and stay with us for 10 days, and we walk them through a complete lifestyle re-education approach.
Okay, why are you blowing my mind? Now, why haven't I heard of this? Hello, why have we not heard of each other?
Hey, I'm glad we're friends now.
I cannot believe that there's a place like that, like pretty close to me.
Yeah. So individuals come in, and we really focus on cleansing the body, but also nutritional deficiencies as well. So we really try to nourish the body as much as possible with concentrated nutrition. So fresh living juices. We do a lot of raw foods as well within the program, but we're also incorporating a detoxification approach with a lot of different herbs, such as milk thistle, which is great for the liver, such as you have wormwood, which is fabulous for assisting parasites and worms. You have many other herbs that are fabulous for assisting the detox pathways of the body. So somebody comes in for 10 days, and we've had individuals who are interested and have been doing certain things like this for many years. But then we have those that are completely new to cleansing through detoxification through whole foods. So it's pretty neat.
Is it kind of like maybe a juice fast at the beginning?
So in a way, the way our program is structured, for the first 5 days, an individual is going through just juice and cleansing the body through the herbal-based protocol. And then the additional 5 days, we incorporate raw foods. So we're not necessarily saying, okay, go home and become a raw foodist. We're just saying throughout this 10-day journey, we want your body to experience something that it has never experienced before. So we incorporate saunas, skin brushing, we incorporate massage. We have a gym where individuals come and work out. We have some hydrotherapy treatments. We do a cold sheet treatment, which is really neat. If you've done any type of hydrotherapy in the past, it's awesome.
Anita, who's watching live, says, where is the facility?
Yes. So some good news and bad news. Okay. Our facility was located in Acampo, California. And what I mean by was located, unfortunately, and I don't want this to be a real downer for the audience who's listening and excited, our personal property that we housed the program on for since 2001 recently sold. It wasn't because there wasn't an interest in our program. We had a death in the family, so we had to unfortunately say goodbye to personal property. But there's such a need, and we have so many clients right now saying, hey, please reopen your doors. I want to come as soon as possible. So we're looking at property so we could start our program up once again. But one thing, Chef AJ, we're looking at doing is renting a retreat center or even a large Airbnb so we could run our program in the interim.
Right. Well,
yeah.
I have a vegan realtor. Maybe she can help you.
Hey, maybe, right?
I mean, yeah, it's all about connection. There's a question from Soul Glow about the event. Is it a Seventh-day Adventist event?
So that is our personal background in our belief system. The event that we are putting on, it is health focused. We do incorporate health and the gospel as well. This is not an event such as like an evangelistic series where you're coming in to learn about our background in our faith. Our main focus is health, but also incorporating the gospel of Jesus Christ as well.
Do you know Hans Deal?
Absolutely. Yeah, he spoke at our event in 2019.
Oh my God. We're very good friends. Yeah.
Yeah, he's been on our stage multiple times.
Well, let's get him up here because then he can visit me because I'm not too far from you.
Really? Okay.
He's a good friend of mine. When I left the desert, the last dinner I had was with Dr. Hans Deal and Dr. Columbus Batiste because they live near me. Yeah.
Yeah, you could text him and let him know we're friends now.
No, I'm gonna call him as soon as the show is over. I'm so excited. Well, that is amazing. I cannot wait. I wish I had known sooner. I can't go to all 3 days, but I'll definitely be there on opening day and hope.
Yeah. So the Sherzais, I can't wait to meet you either. The Sherzais, they're speaking on Friday and Saturday. And then we have some other fabulous presenters as well. So just some of the topics I'll read here, which is really cool. Learn how to build a healthy brain plus cooking techniques for optimal health. We have learn how to prevent and reverse Alzheimer's and dementia. We have uncover the invisible wounds of trauma and learn how to recover. Learn how to cultivate a mindset to handle all of your stresses. And you think so many people are stressed out, right? Learn the secrets to biohack your body and your mind. Learn how iTech is transforming our minds, and iTech as far as all of our social devices and how we can become glued and addicted to them. Also, we have some fabulous musicians, classically trained musicians who will be sharing their gift in music during the event. We do rent a fairgrounds, so we have free camping. We do offer RV hookups, and we have programs for the children as well. So if any of you watching have kids or have grandkids, but you want to participate, we have something for them as well.
That is so cool. Are you letting all the Adventist churches in the area know about this event?
Yeah, so we've let the Adventist churches in the area know about the event, the local hospital, other organizations as well within our community and throughout California know about the event.
That's good.
So, and the program, it starts at 1 p.m. on Friday, and it goes from 1 until about 9 p.m. Saturday, it's 9 a.m. To 9 p.m. And Sunday, it's 8:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. Wow. And like we were talking about earlier, we do offer meals, so plant-based meals, vegan and gluten-free. We have lunch and dinner. So on Friday, we have a dinner. On Saturday, we have a lunch and a dinner. And on Sunday, we have a lunch.
Wow. If somebody wanted to come in from out of town, are there hotels or places in the area that they could stay?
Yes, great question. So if you click the link that Chef AJ has provided you, you will see we've listed, I think, 3 or 4 local hotels where you can stay at. And I would say they're probably within a 3 to 5 mile radius from the festival grounds.
That's great. Well, I'm lucky I'll be able to drive. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be great having you and anybody else who's watching or listening to this. We'd love to have you as well. We expect to have between 500 to 600 people, and we do offer some booths as well. Maybe if somebody's watching and they're in the health community and they would like to have a booth, reach out to me. But we do primarily offer booths to our presenters. So the Sherzais, they will have a booth, and our other presenters, they will have a booth as well.
Yeah. Will there be any cool things to buy?
You know, there are some cool things. Like I mentioned, we specialize in cleansing and detoxifying the body. The mid-90s, we developed a cleansing protocol that we administer at our BellaVita Lifestyle Center, but we also ship it nationwide. So we have individuals in Europe doing our program right now, and we have that available for individuals who may want to experience a in-home detox. The Sherzais, I believe they're going to have their books available. Some of our other presenters, they will have their books available as well. Our classically trained musicians, I believe they'll have their CDs available at the venue as well.
Nice. When you have your program, is there any medical supervision at all in it?
So within our program, not necessarily. However, My wife, she's a registered dietitian. She's a nurse as well. So you have that
Whoa,
medical
wait,
background
she's
as
both
well.
a nurse and a
Yeah,
registered.
she's both. She went to nursing
Oh
and
my
she
goodness.
realized her passion was food. So she changed her gears. She went to dietetics school and she absolutely loves it.
Where does she work? Does she work like at a hospital or at a practice as a registered?
So she was working at a local hospital in our community, and then we started having kids. So she's a full-time mom now. But through our organization, Modern Manna, she does offer nutritional consultations. And of course, our focus is whole food, plant-based. She's actually used your protocol, Chef AJ, for some of her clients when she was working in the hospital setting. And what was pretty cool was I was talking to her last night, and she said the patients who followed Chef AJ's protocol noticed fabulous results.
That's amazing. Well, it's
So,
not
yeah.
even my protocol. It's just, I don't know if have you heard of Dr. Alan Goldhammer in True North?
Yeah. He's we had a syndicated radio show in the 90s and 2000s, and he was on the show.
He's a hoot.
Yeah, he's pretty neat. I've watched some of his YouTube presentations and listened to some of his podcasts as well.
That is so cool. Well, listen, I'm going to do everything I can to get people to know about this event. I'm not just sharing it here, but I'm asking everybody watching to please share it on their own personal pages.
Yeah, I really appreciate that.
And as soon as I get my meetup group, I just moved here, but I'm in the process of starting a meetup group. I'm going to post it there. So guys, if you have a group, what's the big deal? It's free and there's no
yeah.
And
come on out.
See the Sherzai. I
know.
Wait. Oh, so tell me about this is not to do with your event, but every guest on Chef AJ Live gets it.
Yeah.
What do you eat? What do I eat? What do you?
You don't want to know.
Well, no, I'm guessing it's healthy, right?
Yeah, it's healthy. So I'm married to a dietitian. So what's not to love, right? Generally for breakfast, we have a large bowl of oatmeal. We'll make a nut milk that we'll put on there. And generally we love tropical fruit. We absolutely love tropical. So mangoes, papayas, pineapples. We love our berries as well. So we'll have a mixture of berries on there. We'll usually make a large smoothie. For lunch, my wife, she calls it a lentil stack. So she makes lentils and she'll put onions and tomatoes in there. And that's absolutely delicious. And she'll like to batch cook as well. So a lot of times it's leftovers, maybe redesigned and repurposed in a different way. But like I mentioned, when we first started this conversation, my whole life has been whole food plant-based. I've never had chicken in my life. I've never had beef in my life. I've never had pork in my life. And like I mentioned, yes, we have a deep, we're rooted with a deep faith. But my primary purpose is the health aspect behind it. I also look at the animals, but also looking at how can I sustain my personal life long term, but also do that for my kids.
I mean, you don't meet too many people that have been plant-based since birth. Like we were talking about Dr. Goldhammer, his son Gar, who's in his 30s, he was raised that way. And as far as I know, other than maybe like once breaking his arm in an accident, the kid's never been sick. So I'm guessing you've enjoyed pretty good health.
That's been our life. My father would always mention, here are my beautiful kids. They've never had to go to the doctor for an illness. And I really attest that to the lifestyle that we grew up with, because we weren't eating the high sugar, high fat processed foods cooked 3 times before you eat it, A lot of times growing up, we were going out to the garden, harvesting our tomatoes and our peaches and our beans and coming back in and saying, hey, Mom, what could you make us? So we grew up in the garden. And I think it's amazing because it's become who I am. I mean, my lifestyle, my dietary approach it's part of my DNA, I would say. So it's not necessarily I've changed from a standard American diet. This is what I know. And this is all that I want. When I was a kid, people would always say, well, what do you eat then? Broccoli and lettuce, and that's your meal? But there's such a variety of plant foods that sustains our health, you know?
I love that. My diet is my DNA, because actually it has become at least your children's DNA, you know?
Yeah, I know, right?
That is so cool. You know, I sometimes go to Adventist bookstores, and they sell like some foods that are not really that healthy.
That is absolutely true. And, growing up, my parents, they had the health food store, and they sold a lot of these alternative analog meats, but we didn't bring them home.
Yeah. Like it was like, I think it was Worthington. It was like
Yeah,
in a
yeah.
can. And I just find that so interesting, because so many people, like I've never had like a Beyond Burger or a Boca Burger or I never had any of that. And it's the rage now with a lot of people, but those analogs have been available for quite a long time for people that wanted them.
Oh,
how good they tasted. But anyway, I just thought that was
absolutely.
Kind of yeah.
Yeah. I really appreciated my parents because they would take the label and break it down for us. So it wasn't necessarily don't eat this. They instilled in us why we don't eat certain foods.
Yeah.
So we didn't bring some of these fake meats, these fake analogs home. But certainly, they cater to the community and what the community was wanting, but their message was, still trying to reach them and using that food as a entering wedge, because people, need to start somewhere. And for some, completely changing their lifestyle cold turkey or in a complete radical way, not everyone is able to do that,
right. Cold tofurkey, cold tofu.
There you go. Yeah, I like it.
Cold tofu. No, I'm just teasing you. Hey,
I
listen. So Roseanne Wilson Lewis, who's watching live, says, your dad, Danny Vierra, had a radio show from Stockton in the 1980s that I listened to and first heard of Dr. McDougall. I saw Danny at the Lodi Costco before he passed away and thanked him for saving my life. That's so beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That's so kind. Yeah, so he had a radio show that played all throughout California from the early 90s, and it lasted for about 15 years. So he interviewed some of the keynote health thought leaders today who were just starting out back then.
That is very, very cool.
Yeah.
I love it. So
thank you for that message. That warms my heart.
Yeah. So we've been just doing our thing for all these years in like two circles that never intersected until today. Well, I guess I had to move up here to find my tribe. So what are you going to do?
That's what it took.
Yeah, that's great. Well, I am so excited about this, and I hope people will share. I didn't know your wife was a dietitian. We should have her on the show, and she can be talking about all those dietitian type things.
Oh, she would love to come on the show.
Yep.
And like I mentioned, her approach with her patients has been whole food plant-based.
And also, if both your kids are vegan since birth, that means she had 2 vegan pregnancies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which a lot of people are afraid to do because they don't get the support from their doctor, from their nutrition.
Yeah, we were very fortunate to have a doctor who was open-minded. And being that I grew up this way, I feel very comfortable in raising my children with this approach, to where I didn't necessarily have any concerns. I could really understand for somebody who's adopted this lifestyle, they don't necessarily know what to expect, especially maybe for themselves or even raising their kids. But growing up in a home with 5 children, you know what to expect. Growing up, the question I always received was, where do you get your protein? Right? You're going to be stunted. You're not going to grow. You're not going to thrive. Where does the gorilla get it? Where does the cow get it? Right?
It's just, we had a nickel for every time. Is your mom still involved in the family business?
So she's involved, she provides a lot of support, and she's actually going to be assisting us with the meals for this event.
Very nice. I love
Yeah.
it. I love it. Well, this sounds like so much fun. How far in advance do you have to start planning the next year's event?
Yeah, great question. So generally when our event ends is when I begin planning for the next year.
Jeez.
But with the pandemic, I didn't necessarily know what this year's event was going to look like, if we were going to be able to have it at all. Because last year, the event venue that we rent, they said, I'm sorry, we can't host any events. During the pandemic, they said, I'm sorry, we can't host any events. So I said, okay, I'm going to just step out in faith and plan this event. And hopefully all of the doors open to have it.
Yeah, I think it's going to happen.
Yeah, I believe it's going to happen. We're receiving a lot of positive feedback from individuals, especially those who have been isolated for so long and can't wait to come back in person and, meet and mingle with people again and learn valuable information from the Sherzais and the other presenters we have.
Dixie's asking if there's a speaker schedule. It's going to be posted soon, but why don't you guys just have faith and register? It's free. Dixie, I'm going. I'd love to see you there. At least I'm going Friday for sure. I can't guarantee the other 2 days right now, but I know I'm going Friday.
Yeah. So our speaker schedule will be posted this week. We're still finalizing with our graphic designer, and we'll be posting that schedule. And like I mentioned, it does start at 1 p.m. on Friday. Saturday is 9 a.m. and Sunday is 8:30 a.m.
Nice. It starts after my work day on Friday, so that's why I do this show every day, and I need to know well in advance to take a day off. But could you tell us a little bit about the venue that the event is taking place at?
Yeah, absolutely. So we rent it's the Lodi Great Festival grounds. So it's our community's festival grounds that we rent, and we've been renting this venue since 1993. So they have multiple buildings. Our event is going to be in-house, inside. It's going to be air conditioned. So June, it generally gets pretty hot, so it will be air conditioned. There are seats, and the stage is beautiful. It's like a garden theme. We go to a nursery, and we bring in trees and flowers and shrubs, and that becomes our stage. So it's a fabulous event, and you're going to love it. I'm glad you're coming.
I am so glad. It's so funny. I moved up here and people say, oh, it's so hot. And I'm like, I'm by the way, I'm coming from the desert. I think it's freezing up here. Let me just say that.
Okay.
Right now. I find it very cold up here. So I guess everything is relative, huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that is so funny. Dixie says Rich and her are coming. So fantastic. I'm coming.
Great.
with
seeing you.
And I've already invited a bunch of other local friends. And as soon as I get that meetup on, I think we'll get more. I've invited people from my community, and it's going to be great. Thank you so much for doing this. I've done 19 events, and I've never been able to do them for free. I mean, it's not like I've made money on them. People don't realize, I think, that even those of us that do charge, $100 or more for an event, and events are not really, you don't do them to make money, because there is such a high cost of doing events, not just the insurance, but renting the place and the food. So it's quite, and you take risk. We lost so much money when the pandemic started, because we were supposed to have our 20th event at a hotel in Palm Springs, and we had to cancel because nobody was going to come during a pandemic. And it finally let us out of our contract. But all the money we had to pay lawyers to get out of it. To try to not. It was, so that's why I just don't even want to put my hat in the ring anymore doing events, unless I'm doing it with an Adventist church, just because people just don't realize how much it costs just to get the place, just to get the speaker, So.
Absolutely. It certainly costs a pretty penny to put this on. But like I mentioned, we're a nonprofit organization, and we want to really give back to the community. So the event, like I mentioned, it's hosted at the festival grounds. So it's a very neutral environment for people to come to. And we have about 20 staff and volunteers who are on the floor helping us during the event to put on this production, because it really is a production.
Yeah. If somebody wanted to volunteer, could they get in touch with you? It's free anyway.
Absolutely.
But I think volunteering is amazing.
It's free. We have opportunities in the media department, the children's programs, registration with the booths. So yeah, absolutely. If you're interested, we could have a conversation, see if you're a fit for our event. And, we would love more help, more the merrier.
Great. I should put that in the show notes too. Well, this sounds like a very, very fun event.
And I look forward to meeting you, Chef AJ. But if anybody is watching this and you are coming and you see me there, which of course I will be there, come up to me. I would love to meet you. I would love to know where you're coming from and that you were watching the show, which prompted you to attend the event.
That's right. Tell them you heard it here first.
Yeah.
Elizabeth has a question, but I don't think she's referring to the conference, but to your BellaVita. Do you do colon therapy there? I think she means like colonics, I'm guessing.
As in colonics or enemas. So we do focus on cleaning the colon. We're focusing on the detox pathways of the body. So the colon certainly is one of them. We don't do colonics, but we do incorporate enemas within the program.
They used to do those at OHI, or I mean, they maybe still do.
Okay.
I haven't been there in 20 years. So.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So within our colon formula, we use a lot of psyllium husk. We use charcoal. We use apple pectin. We use marshmallow root. We use slippery elm. So this is a formulation that we've designed. So individuals are incorporating this 5 times a day for the first 5 days. So it's helping to clean the colon, the walls of the colon. And Chef AJ, it's really interesting because the average male American can have 5 to 22 pounds of feces in them in a given day.
How is that
So
possible?
yeah, we do focus on cleaning the colon.
I heard that Elvis Presley had a very full colon.
Yeah, he did. And what's interesting is there is no medical reason to have a bowel movement every day. But I look at my little children and they eat, they go to the restroom. And when your intestinal tract is impacted with feces, it's pressing on other organs of the body, you're not going to feel well. And there's such a gut and brain connection as well, to where when your gut is not functioning properly, your mental state isn't going to be either. So it's a real interesting line of work. And what brings us passion is when we see individuals' lives transform in a matter of days. We had an individual who came to our program a couple of years ago, and his liver enzyme was completely escalated. The doctor put him on disability. He said, you have to get your liver in check. Otherwise you're going to die. He was jaundice. And when he left our program, he went back to the doctor. His liver enzyme dropped 10 points from being normal. His jaundice was gone. His energy improved. And I think that's why it's so beautiful when we see how God created our system and how quickly it responds when we give it what the body needs to thrive and survive,
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you've seen lots and lots of miracles. Lily is asking what about coconut charcoal? Never heard of it, but maybe you have.
Yeah. Coconut charcoal. That's where a lot of activated charcoal actually comes from.
Wow. Very interesting. Well, we'll definitely have to have you back either with your wife or separately, or doing 2 shows to find out more about your work and BellaVita, especially when you get it up and running. But I really am very excited to promote this event and fill it before you even send the mailer out, if I can.
Yes. So, you certainly can click the link that Chef AJ provided. But if you also go to our personal website, modernmanna.org, you can see more about what we do offer. And we have a podcast that we started. So some of our most recent interviews, we have Robbie.
I listened to that one. Yeah, I actually
talked about that.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, cool. And then quite a few other ones as well. So it's amazing when you connect with these individuals and you glean so much valuable information.
Yeah, well, it was very, very nice to meet you. And I am going to
Yeah,
call
you
Hans
too.
Deal. I'm going to call Hans Deal as soon as we get off the show and tell him I met you. And I'm going to invite him to come.
Yeah, I know, right?
Oh, wow. Well, thank you
Well,
so
thank you
much.
so much for,
Are you
yeah, thank you
kidding?
for having me on the
Well,
show.
thank you for doing this conference. I cannot wait. I love the Sherzais and I love meeting like-minded people. And I love the price.
I know.
But I think I'll make a donation anyway.
I know, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right. Well, take care, Daniel. And hopefully you'll see a lot of registrations soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow at 10 a.m. when my guest is a past speaker of Daniel's event, Dr. John McDougall, who will be talking about GI health. He's doing 2 lectures, and the first is going to go from here to about here. I'll tell him you said hi tomorrow, Daniel.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.